Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles the Bands. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We'll cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. When we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking about that damn Stephen A. Smith. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Now, look, this Bronny James thing is becoming a bit of a divisive issue in the sports world. There's a group of people that feel like what LeBron did was beautiful, to be able to create a moment where you could have a father and a son play in an NBA jersey together at the same time, making NBA history. That's a wonderful thing. We should all be happy about that. There are other people out there that say, yes, we acknowledge that that's a great moment, although it's a fleeting one, because once you've seen it once, twice, three times, you've seen it 100 times. But more importantly, if you look at the production versus the amount of acclaim and praise and media attention that Bronny James gets, those two things don't match. And we feel like we should have the right to call it out, especially when you have a player that's being promoted as much as he is, that is not producing. I want to put this into context for you guys. In the two preseason games that Bronny's been featured in, he's only scored 2 points. In the last game he played, he had 0 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 turnovers. 4 turnovers. But the prevailing narrative has been, look at Bronny James and LeBron James standing next to each other by the baseline. We're like, yeah, that's great, but he isn't playing any good, right? And for whatever reason, it seems to be a crime if you point that out. And one of the people that made his opinions known in a very strong and emphatic way was Stephen A. Smith on ESPN yesterday. Was him yesterday. But he decided not to stop there. He decided to now go on the Stephen A. Smith show, where he decided that he was going to scold people for their quote unquote hatred and hating towards LeBron James. And he emphasized the point that LeBron James has earned the right. He has earned the right to pretty much do whatever the hell he wants in the NBA, and everybody should just sit back, shut up, and enjoy it and not utter a mumbling word, even if you disagree with what's being what they're doing and what they're saying. But before we even get into his absolutely ridiculous comments on the Stephen A. Smith show yesterday, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on sports and players you love. Pick more or less on 2 or more players in any sport to win up to 100 times your entry fee. For example, here's a possible winning player projection lineup: Tyreek Hill for more than 90 receiving yards and Dak Prescott for more than 263 passing yards, Josh Allen for less than 240 passing yards, and CB Lamb for more than 96 receiving yards. And if you're like me and you want to play safe, you will love the new features PrizePicks invented: Flex Plays. Flex Pays are the safest way to play PrizePicks. You can still make a profit or win some money back even if a couple of your picks don't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do now is we want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say on the Stephen A. Smith show while he was addressing critics of LeBron and Bronny, and then want to come back and really get into the show. Take a listen to him here.
I want to say this because it's important to point this out, okay? I will be critical of LeBron James when it's called upon. He is not the GOAT in my estimation. It will always be Michael Jordan when compared to him. I have LeBron at number 2. That's number 1. The other part about all of this is that, you know what? You want to shoot jump shots instead of going to the hole. You're reticent or hesitant to get to the free throw line in critical moments. I'm going to get on him about that too, which I have in the past. No need to do that now because he ain't scared to do that anymore the way he was earlier in his career. But it doesn't negate the fact that this is one of the greatest players to have ever played the game of basketball. He is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. And on top of it all, what he has done for the game is immeasurable. And my appreciation for LeBron James and our appreciation collectively as basketball fans should always be, as he would state, surreal, to say the least. It is a damn travesty that you got people running their damn mouths, acting like it's a problem that he got his son on the team. We're now learning, based off of numerous reports that have come out the last few days, that the Golden State Warriors were contemplating grabbing Bronny James at the 52nd overall pick, but passed on doing so in order to respect the wishes of LeBron James, because they knew that the Lakers had the 55th pick and that LeBron James was going to make sure that the Lakers grabbed him. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron has earned this. Bronny has something to prove. Bronny has something to earn. He's got to put forth the work and the effort over a lengthy period of time to show that he's worthy of being in the NBA. All of that is true. But in terms of the skids being greased, pardon the phrase, so Bronny James could be on the Lakers as opposed to another NBA team, why is that a problem? Coaches do that. Executives do it. There's a whole host of folks throughout the world of sports that facilitate things, that engage in a level of nepotism that we all notice because it's flagrantly obvious. Are you kidding me? This is Bronny James, the son of LeBron James. And when we think about the NBA and what it has become, and the $76 billion 11-year deal they recently signed with various television networks and streaming operations, I got news for you. Is that possible if it were not for LeBron James? You have any idea what LeBron James has done for the game of basketball? What LeBron James has done for the world of sports? And for him to have his son on the team with him, I got no issues with it whatsoever. I have zero issue with it whatsoever. LeBron James has earned that. Bronny James has something to prove. Fair enough. But LeBron James has earned it. He has earned our respect, our reverence, our deference, our appreciation for us to look at something that he wants and say, excuse me, can we do that for him? Yes, we can. Not just the Lakers, but NBA fans everywhere. Yes, we owe it to LeBron James to be receptive and courteous enough to appreciate the fact that he wanted to wear the same uniform, playing on the same basketball court as his son, and that he did what he could to make that happen. If he were not so great, if he were not so phenomenal, if he was not such a winner, he would not have been able to pull this off. But why was he able to pull this off? Because damn it, he's LeBron James and the rest of us are not. And if somewhere down the line, Steph Curry ends up having a kid that can get to the NBA level, and that's what Steph Curry wants, guess what? It's worth consideration doing that for him too. Why not? When you've meant that much to the league, when you've done that much for the league, when we've spent decades profiting off your greatness.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say there. Now, let me tell you what I think is most disturbing about his comments. What I've noticed is Stephen A. Smith has been handling Bronny James with kid gloves. He said, oh, I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to mention anything about his game. He said when he was in college, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to reserve all of my comments for when he becomes an NBA player. Now that he's become an NBA player, he refuses to say one mumbling word about his actual basketball game. All he's been doing is hiding behind the fact that, oh, it's LeBron's son, and therefore everybody should just be happy about it and no one should say anything. But there's a problem here. This is not the approach Stephen A. Smith took with Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown came into the NBA around the same age, or dare I say he was younger. Then hold on, let's just verify this, because to me, look, we got to get this right. How old is? We got to get it right. How old is Bronny James? Bronny James is 20 years old. Okay, 20 years old. How old was Kwame Brown when he was drafted? Kwame Brown was 19 years old. 19 years old. He had no one in media sitting up there twerking it up every single day on his behalf, defending him and all that. He had no such support, no such type of support in his corner. And what did Stephen A. Smith do? to a 19-year-old kid on a daily, weekly, and yearly basis. He absolutely trashed Kwame Brown. I want you guys to take a listen to Stephen A. Smith talking about Kwame Brown over the years, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here talking about Kwame Brown. Take a listen to that there.
Did L.A. give up too much to get a guy who has been labeled soft?
Is that a trick question?
You tell me.
They gave up Kwame Brown.
Two
Who
first
cares?
rounders.
I could care less.
Into his salary.
More importantly, Kwame Brown is gone. The City of Angels, Hollywood, just should be celebrated. Throw a parade already, whether you win a championship or not. This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. He's got bad feet. He can't really move, even though he's mobile. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Doesn't have a post move that he puts to memory that he can do 2 times in a row. He has no game whatsoever, plays no defense, doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it. And you're asking me whether they gave up too much? Please, the Los Angeles Lakers knew exactly what they were doing. They should be celebrating right now. In this particular instance, you keep those guys. You still have Fisher with Jordan Farmar. And on top of all of that, you give up Kwame Brown? Please, there's nothing to think about.
But it doesn't matter because he's replacing Kwame Brown. And when you take it to the fact that you're replacing nothing, that makes you something, which is a plus. And that's the way to look at this situation. Kwame Brown, God bless him, is a scrub. He can't handle the ball, can't post up, can't do anything, can't play defense. The Lakers were struggling. They were mired in complete disgust, knowing that they were on the brink of mediocrity anytime he was on the floor because he couldn't get it done. Now you've got Pau Gasol. You pair him with Andrew Bynum. You didn't give up Lamar Odom either, and you still got Fisher and Kobe? Please.
Call it whatever you want. If Kwame Brown ends up in this city wearing a New York Knicks uniform, actually allowed to parade the streets of New York as a member of one of the most storied franchises, I don't know what I will do.
Oh, man.
You go. You just start. You just goodbye, Shelby. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Have a nice night.
But did they bring Kwame Brown to this city? Kwame Brown. I don't know what I'll do. And by the way, ESPN, don't even try to get me to do anything with it. I'll quit first. I just cannot take. I can't take it. Just the thought of it makes me stutter.
So you heard Stephen A. Smith talking about Kwame Brown, right? You heard him talking about Kwame Brown. You heard how he was describing Kwame Brown's basketball game. Now, some people watching this show will say, hey, man, look, you're being ridiculous. Because Bronny James is the 55th pick, and Kwame Brown was the #1 overall draft pick. You would be absolutely correct. But here's the problem. You could conceivably criticize Kwame because, well, of his projected potential at being the #1 draft pick versus his production, although he was in a very, very, very hostile environment as a rookie to becoming a rookie with the Washington Wizards with a Michael Jordan at his advanced age. It was a totally different volatile situation. It wasn't like as if he was joining a team where his father was going to be the leader of the team. But fine, I grant you that. But in the case of Bronny James is the 55th pick, but he's being promoted then like the face of the NBA. And for the level of promotion that Bronny James is getting, why doesn't Stephen A. Smith then go out there and say, but he can't play? He can't play. He doesn't really know what's going on the basketball, the way he described. Why doesn't he say that? With Kwame, he gave absolutely zero regard. He went at Kwame for years. And according to some of the things that Kwame Brown said, he was going after him at high schools and colleges, trashing him from stop to stop. This is according to Kwame Brown. But when it comes to Bronny James and him having 0 points in 2 games, you don't want to say anything. And then when people have the courage to actually say, look, this guy isn't any good, you now start scolding them for being haters, and you start getting into this entire speech about, oh, you know, LeBron he's a billionaire and he's done that. What does LeBron being good at basketball have to do with the fact that his son doesn't seem to be very good? And why can't you call that out? Or are you telling me because LeBron James is one of the greatest players ever, you're saying that allows his son to then go through the NBA and just avoid criticism from everybody because he's LeBron James' son? Listen, Stephen A. Smith is an elitist. He's an elitist. Do you think that he would have been talking about Kwame Brown the way that he was, even if Kwame Brown was a bad basketball player, if his father was Michael Jordan? He wouldn't have said a mumbling word. A mumbling word. This particular situation has everything to do with money and power. He knows who to mess with, and he knows who not to mess with. He's not going to mess with LeBron's son because LeBron is LeBron. He's a billionaire. He's very powerful. He's still the face of the NBA. But Kwame Brown at the time was just some kid. I forgot what state Kwame's from. I think he's from Atlanta or something like that. I mean, excuse me, Georgia. I could be wrong. I don't know. So he's fair game. And that's the fundamental difference. Had nothing to do with basketball. Has everything to do with power. People like Stephen A. Smith respect money and they respect power. And if you don't have either of those things, he ain't going to respect your ass. It is simple as that. Simple. It is literally that simple. A lot of I was done with Stephen A. Smith when he made when he was making fun of those Nigerian players. And do you know why Stephen A. Smith felt comfortable to do that? Do you know why? Because he viewed them as a group of people that have no power, that they could have no impact on his bottom line. Do you think Stephen A. Smith would on purpose mispronounce Jewish people's names? Do you think he would do that? Absolutely not. He will go to bed and rehearse their last names for 3 hours to make sure he pronounces it right, because he knows who he can with and he knows who he can't. That's why I don't respect him. He was making fun of Shohei Ohtani and all of these different comments because to them, they could not affect him. But he knows who to play with and he knows who not to play with. So for him to sit up here and tell people, oh, you need to be happy, who the you? Who are you to be telling people how they need to feel about it? Who are you? You talk sports. Who told you that you have the right to start telling people how they're supposed to feel about this and feel about that? If people feel like what they've seen isn't any good, they have the right to say it. Why are you trying to silence people? I'm disappointed in all the haters. You ain't disappointed in the way you dragged Kwame Brown for years? You not disappointed in that? Yeah, I be trying to support Stephen A. Smith. I be trying to support him. But he be doing that goofy stuff that really turns me off. It really turns me off. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.